Welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. Here are your hosts, Coach Mike Keene and Jeff Hodges.
Hello and welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. I'm Jeff Hodges along with UNA head baseball coach Mike Keene. Coach Keene, the UNA Lions 21-23 overall, 11-16 in Gulf South Conference play with 2 weekends left to go. And it's really been a tale of three seasons for UNA at this point. You started the year 7-15, 12 of those games against ranked teams. Then you went 13-4, including an 8-game winning streak. But since a series win over West Georgia, the Lions just 1-4 heading down the stretch, and definitely want to get things turned around in these final 6 regular season games and get some momentum heading into the tournament.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that yesterday. You know, we've had the same thing that kind of reverted back to what happened earlier. You know, we're losing some close games, have guys in scoring position. We have hit some balls hard, but it's been right at them, and we're not able to expand. And then the other teams are able to find a way to either flare a run or scratch a run across, and you know, we're not able to close the deal. And you know, we got to be able to do that down the stretch and kind of challenge them. You know, it's you know, even as I'm looking back as an assistant coach for a lot of years, I said I don't think I've ever been part of a coaching in a losing season, and I told those guys that you know, you don't want to be a part of that. But I said we got 6 games to turn it around, and then I said when you get to playoffs, that starts 0-0. Everything starts over again. So you know, hopefully we got some big challenges ahead of us, but you know, we just got to see if we can overcome it.
The Lions played their first conference series up at Lee. You won that first game 15-1. You played up there a couple years ago, and they've won some NAIA championships. Very good program, but you won that first game 15-1. A great pitching performance from Brantley Claunch, and you really hit the ball well. 16 hits in that game.
Right. It was you know, that was one of the things I thought. You know, we did some things. We actually had one of our you know, Greg Bowles All-American was up there at the game, and I was kind of telling him we struggled to score runs, and then he shows up, we go 15, and he didn't come back the next 2 games. I told him he needed to hang out with us, but you know, they made some mistakes, but we really got really good on our short game. Some guys that really got some pitches of drive and just did a good job in scoring position. I thought that really was going to, you know, take some momentum into the series. And obviously we hit one of their best pitchers. Their guy through game 2 has been really good all year long. So, and he did throw well.
A couple of the notes from game 1. Everybody in the starting lineup scored at least 1 run for you in that game. But also Matthew Tittle got his first at bat, and he's a guy who was very important to you last season. Has missed this year after a surgery, but finally back in the lineup and getting a little playing time for you.
Yeah, it was, you know, both him and Will Dennis had elbow surgeries in the fall, and they've been slowly getting back. You know, for throwing wise, it's still a ways away, but for getting a bat in there, so we had an opportunity to. You know, he's been getting closer and closer, so we had a chance to get a, you know, a live at bat, and obviously he did well and had a really good weekend, and we're looking forward to getting him back in there. And then of course Montevallo had a, you know, again got in there again, and you know, didn't do quite as well as he started the season.
The Lions lost game 2 to Lee 7-1. Close game, 2-0 for the majority of the game, but Riley Sanderson not his best performance of the year, but just really couldn't score any runs. 6 hits in the game for UNA.
Right. It was you know, it was one of those where Riley, you know, obviously was kind of flirting back and forth, and Lee's got a real similar style of play than we do. They do very good. They'll run bases, very good at bunting, moving runners over. But you know, their guy was pitching well, good slider, and we knew that going in, and just didn't really have, I thought, real good at bats up and down the lineup. And then we had that one inning where we make a mistake, and you know, Lee took advantage of that. We're able to steal and bunt. We, you know, they had laid down a bunt that we actually threw up the line, and that's what kind of created that 3-run inning. And you know, we were trying to keep it 2-0, and but they were able to get those 3 runs and make it 5-0.
Final game of the series, the Lions with a chance to win the series. You end up falling 4-3. It was a game that was 3-3 late. You had some opportunities to perhaps tie or win the game, but just didn't make it happen.
Right, and it was one of again that game again we made an error that ended up allowing them to score, and their ball, they somehow chopped a ball that actually scored. I still can't figure out how the second hop hit up so high. It chopped over the pitcher's head. Then the second, but you know, Guzay was right there, but it kept hitting high again and went to the outfield, and that's how the go-ahead run. But you know, Jake Ward hit a ball that I thought was going to get over the left fielder's head. He made a nice catch. Then Matthew Tittle hit one ball that I thought for sure was down the left field line. So their left fielder made 2 really good plays to preserve the win for him, and that defensive play for them was the difference in that ball game.
The last game for the Lions this past week, 4-2 non-conference loss to Montevallo at home. You're able to give Cade Medley his first start since the 3rd week of the season, and he pitched 4 shutout innings to start the game, but the Lions came out on the short end of a 4-2 game.
Right. You know, again, Cade, you know, was, you know, we were kind of getting him in there. We figured this was time to let him expand, get a start. And I thought he pitched well, and again, it was a game where we were up. You know, both teams were, you know, really not doing a whole lot offensively, and we were able to get some, you know, hits and move around. And then they had the one inning where, you know, a walk and a hit batsman, and then they have one good hit, and then another ball that was kind of a hit and run that they flared over, and that was all their scoring that they did that 1 run. And then, you know, we just left, you know, had opportunities, and you know, when you're basically 1 for 12 on the day with guys at second base, and that's all you can muster up, you know, makes it tough that you're going to win a game.
We'll take a quick break and we'll have some Lion highlights for you when we come back.
TNT Fireworks is proud to support the University of North Alabama and the Lion baseball team. Like the UNA baseball program, TNT Fireworks is committed to excellence. Our product, service, and teamwork are the reasons we are America's #1 selling fireworks brand. Check us out at tntfireworks.com. And remember, if it's not TNT, it's not fireworks. TNT Fireworks encourages the entire Shoals area to support head coach Mike Keane and his UNA Lions by attending a game at Mike D. Lane Field. Roar Lions!
What's going on up there?
Welcome home, Chuck. This is all for you.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Lieutenant Chuck Nat home.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. It's time now for our highlight segment. We're going to look at the UNA's game against Montevallo. It's actually a 4-2 loss for the Lions, but against a very good Montevallo team. And you picked up a win against Emerging this season when they were nationally ranked, and it kind of really got the season turned around for you and got you headed in the right direction. But a good ball club, similar to us.
Yeah, and Montevallo, of course, was a member of the Gulf South Conference, and then out in the Peach Belt, which is another very good baseball coach or conference. And I was talking to their head coach, and similar when you go through the GSC and the Peach Belt, it's just all the teams the depth is so deep that you got to work your tail off every weekend and every game. Then you got to play a midweek game against two other good teams. And he said, there's no room for error. And he kind of felt the same thing we did. Here we come out, Cade's pitching well, doing what we get the pitches there, get that double play ball, which we've been very good on that part. And we come out of there, get out of the first inning, and another day where the wind's kind of blowing in. So I didn't feel like there was especially anything to center field and right field. I didn't think was going to have a lot of carry. So we're trying to get on the board, and they're starting one of their guys trying to get a career, hit this ball decent, goes right under the leg. So get an error right off the bat, get some things going. Their shortstop actually slipped is what happened here, and had it coming around. And he had the ball, then he actually fell down, and Jake did a good job of moving up. So obviously we got that guy on second base, so good chance that we're probably going to bunt him over, which we do. Brett Guzet, who set, I guess, the UNA record for sack bunts, did sack him over to third base. And then Kyle Conkle was unable to get him in, but then Dylan Boston with 2 outs, and which was one of the few times that we're able to do it this game. And and it was good to see. So we get on the board, and that's what I kind of wanted. I thought we could get on there and strike early and then have Cade go as deep as he possibly can. And again, you see Cade just throwing the pitches, getting that fly ball, and there it is, Taylor Hayes, who is in the game there, has been playing, as the backup role. He's played right, he's played left, he's DH'd, with Bradley Nolan being out, so he had an opportunity to play and did a good job. And you can see his slider was working. I thought Cade's stuff was good. It was good to see his stuff was kind of similar. He had some changeups that I couldn't tell if it was a slider or changeup from the side that was about as good as I've seen, and he had a couple strikeouts. And again, just attacking the zone. You can see that ball getting a fly ball, and it's not going to, that guy hit it about, not going to go a lot of place in our ballpark. You see this game's kind of going along pretty good, and both teams are pitching well. Not a lot of scoring going on. They finally get some things going here. They're doing the same thing, which is really different, their style. I was surprised. They're not really a team that sack bunts a lot, but I guess they felt the game was going to be in a situation they need to, so that's what they're bunting them over. Then we were able to pitch out of this inning and keep the game, keep the lead, and that's just doing a good job. And you'll see this play right here. They're going to try to tag up, and there's really good throw and tag right there. And that that was big, and I thought our momentum was there. 2 plays there. That's where he threw that ball down right on line, and then Thomas Longboard did a good job of staying with it and applying the tag, and then kept, instead of being a tie ball game, we're still up 1-0.
And Cade, a guy that after his great performance as a junior, you were expecting maybe an all-conference, all-region type performance this year, but injuries just really made that not happen.
Right, and that's what we're talking about. Probably, I think we got, excuse me, some good starting pitcher. One of the things that probably we don't have is that, like a lot of them, that bona fide #1 that would have been dominating, which Cade would have been that guy, and you can see why his stuff is plenty good. And this is the first time we stretch his outings, and it was really good. We're hopefully, again, get him back out there on Tuesday and against A&M and do it again, and then we'll see where we are in the playoff. But again, you see that breaking ball is a lot tighter. You can't see from the side, but from up here you can see how much better it is. So he's going along good. He's kind of on a pitch count. So I was asking him to see how he's doing, and he definitely wanted to go back out. So that was good to see. And here we're going to try to get some things going here. And then here's Taylor Hayes getting his chance, and which is not a lot of them. It's only the 3rd one hit in our ballpark this year, and he got a fastball up and really got the barrel to it, and was able to take get a home run, take a 2-0 lead. And you felt like a lot of stuff was going our way, a good momentum swing, and thought that might to hurt them a little bit, but but it did.
And the fact that Taylor had not played a lot, they didn't have really a scouting report on him. As you saw on a lot of our other players, they had some big shifts or other things, but they were just pitching to him, and
right.
he made them pay.
And he did a good job. He'd seen him early and jumped all over a fastball, and that's what he was able to get the home run. Of course, we're going back out in the fifth inning, and like I said, Cade was going where he's getting close and wanted to go back out, and unfortunately hit the leadoff guy, and which hasn't hurt us early. We were able to pitch out of it and get be able to do some things to make it happen. Then we end up walking a guy, on a close pitch. And I thought there was some times, there were some calls that I thought were fairly close that we weren't getting as many as them, but again, we get a ball. So now they got first and second, nobody out, and again, they hadn't done this a lot, and I really didn't think they were going to even be a bunt, but they did. They're moving the runners over, and our pitchers did a really good job bouncing off the mound, and that's what we made the mistake against Lee. Well, we don't. So I figure second and third, we got a chance to get out of the inning. They bring up their guy, and he throws a good pitch. You can see that's a good pitch, and the guy, you just got to give him there. He hit a good pitch. That slider's down and in, and he can't, fault Cade for that. I mean, he threw it about where you want. The guy just got his bat hit. That could easily been jammed or fouled, but the guy did a good job and tie the game.
And that's what hurts you there is just one hit. You had the hit batter and the walk, and then both of those end up being the runs that tied the game.
Yeah, and then he throws another. Here's a pitch that's again that's out over there, the play, and then we have a chance, and again gets another run, and we don't, we kind of misplay the ball a little bit to kind of keep it going to give us a chance, and then they get another guy in scoring position. They don't get a lot of them, but when they did, they were able to get them in where we couldn't. So now they get a fly ball here and get another run out. I believe they had a runner at third base, and that's so they get a sac fly. So they get 2 hits when they need to. They get a sac fly, and that's where they get their 4 runs. And that's pretty much. And here's a good job of just communication with Brett Guzet, who's a really heads-up player. I mean, he's a guy that really stays in the game and saw the move, was able to communicate. And Austin Carpenter was in and got us out of. I brought him in to kind of get us out of that jam, and he did, and got us out of that in the 6th. And we come in the 7th, and we brought in Bradley Bailey to start it. And Bradley pitched really well. We kind of switched up a little bit. I kind of went in with Austin Carpenter because he's a little bit better at getting us out of jams, and I wanted to keep the game at 4-2 and thought we'd have a chance to come back. And here you see Bradley coming in, pitching, getting the fly balls, ground balls, and I thought he pitched extremely well.
The Lions going to leave 13 men on base in this game. That really hurt you as well.
Oh yeah, it was. There was no after the conversation after the game. It was. That's what I basically told them. We were actually 1 for 12, but we had chances to make it up, take the lead, come back, and even at the end of the game, the last inning, we still had guys on. So it was one of those things that we had been doing a lot better, and it was kind of the thing that was disappointing. It almost like we reverted back to early in the year with our guys not having good quality bats with runners in scoring position, and we had a lot of guys been pretty good, and they just were unable to do it, and their pitchers weren't really being real tricky about anything. It was pretty much some fastballs and just challenged us, and we were unable to do that. So, like I said, our pitchers right now from this point, all they're asked to do is once they take the lead, keep the lead, don't let them score anymore, and they did their job. They did their part. The pitchers came in, Bradley did his job and kept it at 4-2 and gave us a chance, and that was a disappointing thing we had a couple innings to score runs to go back, and we were unable to get that run to push it across and win the game.
Yeah, Montevallo just 9 hits in the 9-inning game. So as you said, your pitchers did a good job. Here's Jacob Westerhouse in, and he's been solid all year.
Now this was a ball that comes in, Jacob, and I know Brett was a little upset that he didn't make it. Right when he made a really nice play, was ready to plant, and his foot kind of slipped. Otherwise, he would have made that play. But Westy's been good here, and here's another one that I was really good and surprised that they bunted, and again, that's not something they usually normally do. But you see, Jacob does a really good job to make the play. So they got a runner at second. And here we go again, nice play. Got a pick off, good timing pick to get us out of the jam or take that runner out of scoring, which was huge at that time. So good communication by both guys and picking a runner off. And of course, Jacob's just going to come in and do what he does and get the ground balls, and just pitch has been so good for us in that role. So I felt when I brought him in, I felt we were going to be pretty good. He pitches out. So here's our chance. I think we got some things we're going to get going. We got Guzet leads off, and it's a real close play, and we weren't able to get the call. So you thought, well, we're going to try to see what happens. And now all of a sudden, this guy's, they're throwing some of their guys that haven't thrown a lot. We get a little wild hits. Hits Kyle. So now, okay, we got runners on base, and this is what we need to do. And we got Dylan coming up, and then we'll see. He gets we get a ball here. Trying to get now. You try to. This guy is not showing a lot of control. You want to be patient. You want to make sure you're hitting your pitch. We kind of get a pitch that was a little breaking ball. So they're good. He runs well enough they can't turn it. So at least we kept it going instead of being over. We still got a chance, and that's all you ask, and give us an opportunity to continue to try to get a run in. And like I said, we get them second and third right here. It's just we're unable to put it away.
And again, you see a lot in the midweek games. Montevallo throws 6 pitchers in this game,
Right.
so basically every inning you came out, you were facing a different arm.
And you can see that's that's one of those things when you know that is in the game and the guy's struggling. You just hit a guy before there. See a little bit more pitches instead of just one. And if it's not there, wait and make even more. We could have maybe had the bases loaded, and that's one of those things. We still got some guys that need to understand that. So now we got the situation here where we're going, and really to be at this situation, we got them over second and third. And there's a guy that ends up making the play, which Carpenter's been, I felt pretty good that, and where they were playing him, I was waiting for him to hit that ball down the left field line and, tie the game up. But, obviously that was kind of, the game was that way. That's kind of what happened. We get him over there and, ground ball or fly ball.
We'll take another quick break and we'll have our profile segment when we come back.
He is the most interesting man in the Shoals. He is an artist, a writer, a philosopher, a historian, musician, astronomer, wine connoisseur, environmentalist, Peace Prize recipient. When he speaks, people hang on each and every word, especially the verbs. His personality is so magnetic that he cannot carry credit cards. It is said that once he taught a German shepherd how to bark in Spanish and taught a horse to read his email. Someone recently asked him what he did for fun, and here is what he said.
I don't eat out every day, but when I do, I eat at City Hardware because to me, it's the most interesting restaurant in the Shoals.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. It's time now for our player profile segment. And Coach Keene, today we're going to look at 3 freshmen that have all made significant contributions to the 2014 season. We're going to start with your first baseman, Tyler Hall. Very good start to the season, had an injury with a hyperextension, has been able to come back from that, but played a good bit for he played in over 30 games this season.
Yeah, he was redshirted for us last year, and we thought he really did well on his redshirt, trying to put him in position to play, and still a good solid first baseman defensively. He's been like a lot of our guys, a little up and down offensively. He had a really good game against Lee on Sunday, and when Kyle's pitching, obviously he's going to be at first base. He's put in that DH role too, and that was just when Will came back. That gave us a left-right kind of DH opportunity. Like I said, right now, if we get in there even late defensively, might need to get him in there, being a little bit solid defensively. But he's got to continue to get better as he gets older, and he is only a freshman. So at least he's got a lot of playing as a true freshman or as a redshirt freshman. And he's been in all conference games. He's been in big games, and like I said, I think that hyperextension kind of slowed him down because he was pretty hot early in the year and kind of fought through that, and I think it's now starting to come back a little bit.
Started 30 games for you this season. Here's one of your left-handed pitchers, Bradley Bailey, and he's really seen a lot of work as a freshman this year in some big games, and he's come through for you.
Yeah, and that's when he had a good fall. Didn't know where he's going to do. His arm really improved. His velocity kind of is always kind of the mid-80s range, and but he seems to be, when he's out, just like you saw against Montevallo, he just it seems to be a guy that misses bats, and when his slider's on, he's pretty good. He's to make his 3 pitches. He's got to continue to improve, holding runners and getting off the mound like a lot of them do when they first come into this. But as far as a true freshman coming in from Haleyville, what he's been able to do has been such an important role for us, because when Cade went down, we had to take Kyle, had to kind of switch that role. So he's kind of been that midweek guy, and in the weekends, he's done. It's when Brantley got hit, he came into, and he's given anywhere from 3 to 4 innings to 1 inning and to 1 guy. I've had him do some special league pitching, left on left, and he's been able to handle all those roles really well.
He's made 17 appearances this year, all in relief, and it's nice to have that left-handed arm coming out of the bullpen. Peyton Thomas moved into a starting role as a freshman. Catcher, unbelievable job defensively early in the season. He's also started to hit a little bit more now, but he's had a great freshman year.
Yeah, he's another one. If he was, kind of. We had a little challenge with all the catchers and had good competition going on, and he was really throwing well, and that was one thing we were trying to do, get runners, and throwing pretty much everybody out. Then he has an injury where he breaks his thumb, and it was kind of, and again he's now trying to get back into it, and get back catching. He's finally able to get him in the last couple games, but he was out 2 or 3 weeks too. So The good thing, again, he's a true freshman, so we know we've got him for 3 more years after this, and I think he really is starting to understand the hitting. And I thought the last with Lee was the first time where he really stayed with the approach that he's been doing in batting practice, and he did a really good job of hitting. He drove a couple balls the other way and knocked in runs, and obviously behind the plate, throwing wise, he can really do that.
And it's always a bright spot going forward, and you have some freshmen that can come in and get this kind of experience their first season, and like you said, carry it forward in their career.
Right, and that's one thing when you're out, when you get the season, as you're losing, you look for recruiting. It's nice to know you're going to have some stability, especially behind the plate.
We'll take one final break, and we'll be right back with more Lion Baseball.
Hi, I'm Mike Keene, head baseball coach at the University of North Alabama. Have you ever heard the saying, great baseball players are made in the off-season? As a college baseball coach, I can tell which high school recruits are on a weight program and which ones are not. Help your young athlete reach the top of the sport by training with the personal trainers at the Courthouse Racket Club. Our 5 trainers are ready to work at your athlete's pace and your schedule. Try our 3andMe training program designed for 3 athletes to work with a trainer and lower the cost to fit any budget. Call Ken Irby at 764-0034 to set up a program designed especially for your young athlete. The Courthouse Racket Club, proudly serving the Shoals for 30 years.
TNT Fireworks is proud to support the University of North Alabama and the Lion baseball team. Like the UNA baseball program, TNT Fireworks is committed to excellence. Our product, service, and teamwork are the reasons we are America's #1 selling fireworks brand. Check us out at TNTfireworks.com. And remember, if it's not TNT, it's not fireworks. TNT Fireworks encourages the entire Shoals area to support head coach Mike Keene and his UNA Lions by attending a game at Mike D. Lane Field. Roar Lions!
A great combination, Frostbite and Montague's. Florence's first self-serve yogurt shop has over 50 rotating flavors and over 100 rotating toppings. Customizable frozen yogurt. When the cup is full, the toppings are close by. Just weigh and pay. All sandwiches at Montague's are under $5. The best Philly cheesesteak and Reuben in town. Delicious sides, and they cater. Get a UNA student discount, and they accept the main card. Like Frostbite on Facebook. Frostbite and Montague, 1611 North Pine Street, Florence. Open now, Frostbite on the UNA campus.
TVA Community Credit Union is proudly open to the entire community, offering unequaled service and convenience.
They are the TVA Community Credit Union, and they make you feel like you're part of the community, part of the family. Customer service is great. I mean, they're great with my wife and I, and my daughter.
We bought all of our houses, all of our cars, everything through them. With a little one running around, I don't have a lot of time. So it's real simple just to pull my mobile up and go straight to the site and check my account.
I recommend them all the time, to be honest with you. For one, I mean, their rates are great. Try to work with you to get you the lowest rates, to get you where you need to be, set you up for the future. Don't feel like I'm a number at all. I feel like I'm a part of the family.
From mobile banking to the latest platform in online banking, we make managing your financing fast and easy. Our members are the owners of our credit union, so there are no high-priced stockholders to pay, allowing us to give our members totally free accounts and amazing loan rates. TVA Community Credit Union, everybody's credit union.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. We're going to take a few minutes and talk about the 8 seniors on the 2014 UNA baseball team. And Coach Keene, the home season is going to be closed out for the Lions, but 8 guys that are going to have a chance to maybe do something in the conference tournament. And starting with Drew Bachelor, he's a 3-year member of the program. He was able to pitch in 2012, but injuries have not allowed him to play each of the last 2 seasons. But he's been out there every day and practicing, working hard.
Yeah, it was, and his injuries have been freak injuries. His one just having a volleyball, and ended up hurting his arm, and then he was doing another drill that we were just doing a running drill, and then was actually dove and knocked it out again. And right when he was back being healthy, in 2012, he had a good arm and really helped us out a lot. But he's a guy that's going to get his degree. Really worked hard. Great guy having around our program, and just both him and his family have just been real supportive of us. And I know it's been really tough, and we'd like to get him out there, but the season really has been a season where it's just tough to get anybody out of this year.
Josh Carpenter, a 4-year starter for you. Started 195 games at UNA, 3-time All-Conference. He's played shortstop and second.
Right, yeah, Josh is, the thing that even to me was really impressive, obviously being a 4-year starter, but Josh is going to graduate in May. So he's actually been a 4-year starter, played every summer in the summer leagues. and still is able to graduate. And that's just tells a lot about him, is able to get his degree and how well he's as a good student. So, but he's been a guy that's been through a lot in our program, obviously a couple of regions, and been freshman of the year, and hopefully he'll get another all-conference this year. Will
Dennis, the catcher, he's been a 5-year member of the program, had some starts last year behind the plate, was looking to do so this year, but then some surgery kind of slowed that down.
Yeah, that was probably, I know Will had really put himself in a position to really be, possibly catching this year. Then the elbow injury, kind of took that away from him. But, he has come back and got some DH role and has had some big games for us. And, I think he's going to be important. He'll still get his opportunities, obviously, down the stretch. And it's just one of those things that just, unfortunately happened.
And catcher Thomas Lundborg, a 2-year member of the program. He's hitting the 200s, but his on-base percentage has been over 400 both seasons, and he's a guy that just gets on base.
Yeah, he can be really patient, and really this year, for the most part, he's had a lot bigger hits. I thought he's been offensively a lot more this year, but he was a guy that you got to give him credit. You had a freshman out there catching in front of him early in the year, and when Peyton went down, he stepped up. And if you ever saw Thomas, he really frames well, blocks well, handles the pitchers really well. But I thought he really stepped up and had a really good year.
Then Cade Medley, 6-2 last season for the Lions, expecting a lot this year. Third week of the season, he goes down with an arm injury, but he's back, and he could really make a difference come conference tournament time.
And I think that was at Montevallo. You saw what he's capable of doing. So I think that's kind of, if he is a bright side, that's what we talk about, finish strong, and then when we get in the tournament, I think he's going to be pretty close to being healthy, and that could make a huge difference for us.
Your left fielder Bradley Noland, a 2-year starter, is a very versatile guy. He can play in the outfield and the infield. Very consistent hitter around the 280s for both seasons here.
Yeah, and he's we had him. He's been a pretty consistent 2 years. Obviously, making the move to left fielders, had some big assists, and hopefully he's he's another guy that's been a little sick. So hopefully he'll be okay for the tournament. But it's kind of been probably not, I guess, looking at this, probably not been one of the kind of an unusual senior season for these guys.
Yeah, 4 of the 8 guys have missed significant parts of the season, due to injuries, and more than anybody, Matthew Tittle, your shortstop, started last year at shortstop. He's only had 7 at-bats this season, but you're working him back in, and hopefully he'll be somebody who could help you in the tournament.
Right, and I think that was probably, when you take your starting shortstop out of the equation, and obviously Brett Guzay stepped up and had been tremendous, and it put a lot of pressure on Dylan Boston to slide over. But, it was nice to see Matthew get back into the lineup, and another guy that's a great student. He's another one that's going to graduate, as will Thomas Lundborg. So I think we got 3 of them that are going to graduate for sure in May, and obviously the rest of them will continue to get their graduation, get their degree too.
And then Jake Ward, your center fielder, unbelievable season last year, first team all-conference in our region, hit .397. This year just .278, but he has done a really good job down the stretch of getting on base, as you saw in the video earlier, but getting on base and giving your team a chance to score some runs.
And he's so important to our offense, and he just hasn't been able to get on base quite as much, not having the season, and I know that's been frustrating for him. But it's they pitch him a little tighter, and they understand after the second year, you got to make adjustments according to that. But obviously, when he gets on base, that's kind of what happened with Lee. He had a great game, was on base on Lee, and we were able to score a lot of runs.
The Lions with 6 regular season games left. You can have a home game on Tuesday against Alabama A&M. Then you're going to close out the regular season on the road at Shorter. It's a team we're not really that familiar with, but those are going to be some important games, you said, not only for the conference seeding, but also to try to get back on track, get some momentum going into the tournament.
Right, and that's kind of what I kind of challenged them after the Montevallo game, and just say, you guys have 6 more games. Let's do the best we can. Let's get after and try to win. If we can, let's win all those games. And and then, like I said, once we get the tournament, it starts all over, and we'll regroup, and everybody's back to 0-0.
You got 25 years experience in the GSC and a lot of tournament experience. You've had a lot of great success in the tournament as a head coach, so anything is possible for the Lions.
Yeah, and I think even half the teams in here, I think you look at all the scores, there's no one, very seldom, there's like maybe one or two games anybody's getting blown out in. All the games have been really tight. So it's really going to come down to execution. Everybody's got some good arms, and in the tournament, a lot of things change. A lot of pressure goes on some of the top teams because they're vying for some regional ones, and you never know. Obviously, I think our chances are as good as anybody.
A lot of people still asking about the Gulf South Conference tournament. As far as we know, it is in Birmingham. It's May 2nd through 6th, but the conference office is still working through some details as far as location. We believe it's going to be at UAB. Hope to see you there. Thanks for being with us again this week on the UNA Baseball Review.
Thank you for watching the UNA Baseball Review. Please join us again next Sunday at 11:30